Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely dismantle all those heavily filtered, romanticized myths about the digital nomad lifestyle. Look, instead of selling you a dream, we're actually going to dive into the hard data and reveal the rigorous, kind of boring operational discipline that actually keeps you abroad. If you've ever seriously thought about packing up your laptop and traveling the world, well, what we're got to cover is absolutely critical. We're going to break down exactly why so many of these journeys fail and how you can build a rock-solid foundation to ensure yours doesn't.
You know that whole laptop on the beach fantasy? Yeah, it's a lie. And if you buy into it, it's going to lead you straight into a massive legal nightmare. A lot of influencers just won't tell you this, but ignoring the boring logistics of international travel is a total recipe for disaster. Just imagine being stranded in a foreign country, your bank account is totally frozen, your visa is expired, and tax authorities back home are aggressively knocking on your door. That's the brutal reality if you ignore the friction of international compliance. Success out there isn't just about finding fast Wi-Fi, it's really all about mastering the hidden friction of global compliance.
Section 1. The dangerous laptop myth.
Instagram loves to sell us this pristine aesthetic, right? Working on a gorgeous beach with total unbothered freedom. But the on-the-ground reality? It's a jarring clash of sand-damaged hardware, impossible screen glare, and far more seriously, sudden legal enforcement when governments realize you're working without the proper documentation. The aesthetic sells, for sure, but the reality is what you actually have to navigate to survive day to day.
Look at 2026. Nomadic burnout is literally at an all-time high. But here's the fascinating part. This incredibly high failure rate, where people's journeys just end in total chaos after maybe 6 months, it isn't caused by a lack of money or ambition. It's driven almost entirely by a total failure to manage boring logistics, combined with a massive increase in global enforcement. The systems are finally catching up.
Section 2. The global tax trap. Trying to fly under the radar by just staying on a tourist visa while quietly working from your laptop, that's simply no longer a viable strategy. Which brings us to a very specific number, 183. That's not just a random figure, it's the strict mathematical threshold used by tax authorities worldwide. Exactly half a year plus 1 day. Thanks to automated data sharing between nations, border controls and tax agencies can easily and precisely track your physical presence. If you spend 183 days or more in many jurisdictions, boom, you automatically trigger tax residency. You just can't hide anymore. The data is completely interconnected. So this makes establishing a tax home absolutely vital. This is your central, legally established location where you pay taxes and manage your compliance. If you're just wandering the globe and fail to set up a solid, legally recognized tax home, you aren't achieving freedom, you're achieving chaos. You leave yourself totally exposed to catastrophic consequences, like double taxation from multiple countries claiming you, or having your hard-earned assets completely frozen by confused authorities.
Section 3. The banking compliance wall. Traditional banks are aggressively closing the accounts of non-residents right now, and they're doing it with zero warning. As compliance rules tighten up globally, banks are basically viewing location-independent customers as high risk. Now, this is pushing a lot of nomads toward digital-first business accounts. But here's the catch. Even those digital accounts still require a rigid, verifiable home base to maintain compliance. You can't just float endlessly in the financial system.
Here's how this builds into a complete disaster, what we call the liquidity crisis domino effect. It starts out super innocently. You use a virtual mailbox service as your proof of address. But then, that specific address gets flagged by the bank's automated risk software as a commercial mail drop. Instantly, your account is frozen, pending verification that you simply cannot provide. Suddenly, you're locked out of your own money in a foreign country, sparking a terrifying liquidity crisis.
Section 4. Long-term visa architecture.
Okay, so to avoid these tax and financial nightmares, we really have to proactively secure our legal, physical presence in the world. But the global landscape has completely shifted. The old easy trick of doing a quick visa run, just hopping over to a neighboring country for the weekend to reset your tourist stamp, that is actively being phased out. Instead, popular 2026 hubs have transitioned to standardized digital nomad visas. They offer true legitimacy, but they are absolutely not quick fixes. They require serious, intentional planning.
Here's a quick reality check on these new visas. We're talking months of grueling paperwork preparation before you even step foot on a plane. Plus, they hide hefty renewal costs that can totally wreck your budget if you aren't prepared. And most importantly, there's an absolute necessity for a clear exit or extension plan. If your visa expires and you don't have your next steps legally mapped out, your nomadic dream abruptly ends, and you're sent packing.
Section 5. Your Lean Startup Foundation.
So knowing all of these traps, the taxes, the sudden bank enclosures, the strict new visas, how do we actually transition from this terrifying survival mode to securing permanent, sustainable freedom? It starts with a massive mindset shift. Avoiding failure means you have to treat your nomadic lifestyle exactly like a professional lean startup. You can't treat your travels like a perpetual, carefree vacation anymore. It has to be an operation, a business. You're the CEO of your own international life, and that requires an operational framework built on discipline, foresight, and strict compliance.
Think of this as your survival blueprint. To stay out of trouble, you've got to implement mandatory quarterly audits on your own life. Step 1. Conduct residency audits to make absolutely sure you aren't accidentally tripping that 183-day wire anywhere. Step 2. Review your tax status to ensure your tax home remains rock solid. And Step 3. Constantly verify your banking access and address compliance so your liquidity is never threatened.
At the end of the day, everything we've covered points to one undeniable truth. Sustainable freedom is simply a byproduct of good logistics. The beach and the laptop, those are the rewards, not the foundation. The foundation is compliance. So you really have to ask yourself, are you ready to master the friction to earn your true freedom? Or are you just waiting for your luck to run out?